Folks, we need to talk about what's happening in Wyoming right now because it's a perfect example of conservative policymakers playing with fire and then getting burned. Wyoming hemp vendors, many of whom probably voted for the very Republicans who put these laws in place, are now scrambling to shut down their businesses by the end of the year. And frankly, this is exactly what they should have seen coming. Okay, imagine thinking that Republicans are in favor of hemp. Okay, so here's what happened. Wyoming passed a law back in 2024 banning the Delta 8 THC products, okay, putting them in the same level as Schedule 1 controlled substances, meaning that they're on the same schedule list, right? The same schedule as heroin and cocaine, incredibly hard drugs. All right. Hemp ain't cocaine. Okay. It is not like any of those drugs. Now, as a result, of course, states' vendors, businesses that were operating legally under these federal guidelines, suddenly found themselves to be breaking the law overnight. The 10th Circuit Court just upheld this law and combined it with a new federal ban that was on hemp derived products. Okay, this was in the shutdown bill. Okay, the one that 8 Democrats crossed the line over to approve. Okay, I thought it was supposed to be a clean CR. It wasn't. It was very, very dirty. And now people who own businesses that sell these hemp derived products are, well, they're going to suffer. They're going to suffer. Okay, so businesses like Green Room LLC that have announced that they're closing their doors permanently by December 31st. Okay, again, these ain't numbers on a spreadsheet. We're talking about real people with real livelihoods. Okay, we're talking about their family's financial security. We're talking about entire communities losing economic opportunity as a result of this ban. But here's where it gets ironic. Okay. Many of these Wyoming hemp vendors, okay, farmers, they probably voted for Republicans. Okay, I mean, let's look at this. All right, that is a map of Wyoming, red all across the board except for one area, a city, of course. Okay, and so look, they probably supported the politicians who campaigned on, oh, we're going to do less government regulation, guys. We're going to protect the small businesses, okay? And they probably nodded along when conservatives railed against federal overreach and government interference in the free markets. Well, yet here we are. Lots of government interference in the free market. They're watching the very state government that they helped elect destroy their businesses through exactly the kind of heavy-handed regulations that they oppose. Same Republicans who complained about federal government overreach when Democrats were in power are now using state power to crush hemp, these businesses. The court rejected arguments that Wyoming's law conflicts with the 2018 federal farm bill, that federal legislation that specifically allows hemp products as long as they stay under 0.3 Delta 9 THC. But Wyoming said, nah, I don't really care about that. We're going to ban it anyway. And now small business owners are paying the price. And the thing that really gets me here is while Republicans in Wyoming are pretty happy to destroy small hemp businesses, what do you think happens to the big pharmaceutical companies? I mean, isn't RFK Jr. supposed to be against big pharma? And yet what they're doing here is he's silent about this. He hasn't said anything, as far as I know, about these bans. And that's it, too. He hasn't said anything. Okay. While the government crushes hemp to help big pharmaceutical companies. Okay. The very ones that make their own synthetic versions of these same compounds. Okay. They get regulated under different rules, different processes, different standards. And again, RFK Jr., he hasn't done anything about it. Okay. This Delta 8 ban may hurt small Wyoming businesses, but also eliminates competition for big pharma. And that helps them. Okay. This is regulatory capture disguised as moral policymaking, which again, what's wrong with hemp products? Nothing. Wyoming's government, by the way, didn't even try to claim moral grounds. They just said, we don't like this. So now it's illegal. And they moved on. Okay. It's not just about hemp. All right. This is about a pattern that we see repeatedly. Conservative politicians, they run on this so-called free market principles and run on less regulation. Okay. And then they get elected by small business owners who happen to believe them every single time, and then immediately turn around to regulate the hell out of those same businesses when it serves their real interests, big corporations. Whether that's pleasing the corporate donors that give them lots and lots of money, scoring political points, or appeasing their base with culture war nonsense, ripped straight out of the 1960s, man. We gotta go after the hippies, man. No, look, the hemp industry represents exactly the kind of small business entrepreneurship that conservatives claim to be in support of. But when those businesses make products that conservative culture warriors do not like, and even when those products are federally legal, suddenly regulation, totally fine. Let's be clear about what's actually happening here. People are losing their jobs, families, they're losing their incomes, communities losing local business owners who understood their customers, who hired locally, contributed to the local economy. Again, these aren't statistics here. These are real people who trusted Republicans, and they got burned for it. Shocker. Green Room LLC isn't just a business name. That's somebody's dream. Somebody's life savings, somebody's years of hard work building a business going down the drain because Wyoming Republicans decided that they know better than federal regulators about Wyoming adults and what they should be, allowed to put in their bodies. So here's what I want you to do. When you see Republican politicians talking about supporting small business, remember Wyoming. Remember the hemp vendors, okay, who trusted these Republicans and they got punished for it and lost everything. Remember that in conservative America, support for small business only applies when those businesses have to serve the right political agenda. And to the Wyoming hemp vendors who are closing up shop, I'm sorry, but welcome to the real world of conservative policymaking. Maybe next time you might consider not voting for people who think government regulation is fine as long as it's regulating something that they personally do not like. All right? This is what happens when you vote for politicians who promise one thing and then deliver another. And sometimes, well, this FAFO is exactly what y'all ordered. If this video helped you cut through the BS and see what is really happening, then smash that like button. Every single like pushes back against the right-wing propaganda machine. I can't do this work without your support. So please check out my Patreon. Link is in the description of this video. For a few bucks a month, you can help keep this channel independent from corporate BS. So hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's keep fighting for democracy and against fascism together.